Thanks to the support as a channel member, Aidan C97. The final part of our Arsenal Beta save, and fingers crossed we end it by winning the Champions League at the second time of asking. That would be jolly nice. We've got to get to it first. We've still got the second leg of the semi-final to play. But I should also remind you, 5 p.m. today here on the channel will be a YouTube premiere for episode 1 of this year's non-League to Legend. Would have loved to have got it out at 4 p.m, but apparently that's when the game is releasing. So it'll be 5 p.m. or as close to as I can get, depending on what time the game actually ticks over into the full game in my Steam library. But make sure you're around later on today, non-League to Legend. We're going to have a lovely, lovely, lovely time, and there's going to be a couple of FM26 giveaways in it as well. So even if you don't want to watch the series, just watch it for some free stuff, potential free stuff. Not everybody's getting free stuff. Two people will. And we are picking things up pretty much where we left them off at the end of the last episode. We have just won the Premier League in that game against Bournemouth. We've seen the trophy lift. I don't know that we ever actually looked at the final-ish table. There's still 2 games to go, but we are 10 points clear of Spurs. And that's the way it should be. Manchester City, who we play in the second leg of this Champions League semi-final, are 30 points behind us. So fingers crossed, we shouldn't balls this up. We're 4-0 up on them from the first leg, but we are heading to their place. And I guess we've got a decision to make. Do we use our defensive system and risk having Erling Haaland run at us for 90 minutes? Or do we go there and try and play football? I'm going to go there and try and play football and hope it doesn't backfire on me. So we're going with Costa in goal, a back four of Lewis Skelly, Gabriel, Saliba and Timber. Rice and Tchouaméni in midfield, Saka on the left, Odegaard on the right, Mount in behind Gyökeres. Mason Mount, by the way, is our top scorer in the Premier League and the Premier League's best player, according to rating. He's got 19 goals, 13 assists this season and is averaging a 7.39. This is the best season of Mason Mount's career. And fingers crossed he can cap it off with the second Champions League trophy of his career. Wouldn't that be a lovely thing? But let's get ourselves to the final, first of all. First order of business, deal with Manchester City, handle Erling Haaland for 90 minutes, and fingers crossed, but he's not even playing. See, that does potentially change things. Without Haaland in their team, it does make me think parking the bus might have been the sensible thing to do. We'll see how it goes. I mean, the personnel we've got on the pitch is flexible. We can drop Mount back into central midfield if need be. We could drop Odegaard back into central midfield if need be. So we can switch to our park the bus system if City score and it starts to look dangerous. But I think with a 4-0 lead, we can probably just play our normal game, see how the match pans out and adjust accordingly. We just need to make sure we don't adjust too late if something does change in the way the momentum of the tie is heading. I wonder how long Haaland's been unavailable for and if that's why City are potentially in danger of not even getting into the Champions League next season. I mean, with them 6th place in the league, this is pretty much their route in. If they don't win it this year, they're not in it next year, which I suspect it doesn't lead to complete financial disaster for Manchester City, but it's also a long way from ideal. I imagine their business model very much built around being in this every year, and they've scored. And this is where I need to practice what I preach and change things if they need changing. I am happy to leave things as they are at 1-0. If it gets to half-time and we're 2-0 down, or we're just really struggling to get a hold of the ball, we may as well get more men behind the ball. But at the moment, we're dominating possession and just keeping hold of the football, keeping the ball largely in the Manchester City half. So I don't think we need to change anything. Attack is the best form of defence. We don't want to invite them onto us. It's another attempt at one of these long throws from Gabriel, and he does well to keep hold of the ball there. Lays it off to Saliba, now Tchouaméni. We've worked it through to Gyökeres somehow, and he should have scored. I don't know, through that enormous crowd of bodies, quite how Gyökeres has come away with the ball there, but I think he's got a little bit overexcited. If anything, kicked it too hard, and it's gone a little bit high and come back off the crossbar. But that's all we need. We need a moment like that where a chance breaks to us and we grab ourselves a goal, re-establish a 4-goal lead, and that's the game over. And we have been the better team in this first half. So even though we're 1-0 down, I don't think we need to change anything. If City score the next goal, then maybe we do drop back and try and defend and stop them from grabbing a third. But I think as it stands at the moment, priority is score ourselves rather than necessarily go all out to stop them scoring. But it is a Manchester City corner. They're going to hit the in-swinger. It's headed clear by Gabriel. What a solid defensive header that is. It is back into the area, though. And that was never in any doubt. Never a worry there. Costa had it covered all the way. It was always fine. Let's not panic. And we've got a free kick, and it's Saka. And we've got, is that Lewis Skelly there? Completely unmarked. And we found Lewis Skelly, who plays it across to Timber. And I don't know how they've not noticed he was unmarked when I noticed it. And I don't notice anything. But unfortunately, a well-worked move didn't lead to us poking in an equaliser on the night, which would have been absolutely ideal. Tchouaméni lays it off to Timber. And now Odegaard out wide on that right-hand side, where he lives these days. And Declan Rice, who controls the middle of the pitch, lays it back to Saliba. And now Tchouaméni, who's got better as the save has got on. It is worth pointing out, when he first signed, I don't think too many of us were completely convinced by him, but he is a key part of this midfield now. And Saka, I mean, he's got paint on his boots. He's so wide. And unfortunately, gives the ball away. But we have got the throw. It's with Lewis Skelly, and Mount also gives the ball away. And that's not ideal. We're getting a little bit sloppy, which we don't need. We could do without unnecessarily giving the ball to Manchester City, because even without Erling Haaland, they are still Manchester City. They've definitely got goals in them. And Doku fires it just wide. They've had some chances in this second half. And at this point, we are getting closer and closer to us deciding to shut up shop. I think we've given ourselves an hour to try and make a breakthrough of our own. It doesn't look like it's happening, and I think the next piece of shuffling that I do is going to be dropping back into our counter-attacking system just to try and see out the final 20-25 minutes of the game. But first, let's see if we can grab a goal, and it's Saka. Probably should have squared it. We had Mount, we had Gyökeres both in the middle. Saka decides to try and test Donnarumma, and Donnarumma passes said test. But his distribution is then rotten, and Saliba won the header. And clearly nothing happened because the highlight just ended at that point. Right, last chance for us to grab something before we switch back to our counter-attacking system. Gabriel throws it into the area. It gets comfortably cleared. Mount gives it to Timber, who, between the two of them, I thought they were going to try and get the ball back into the danger area again. As it is, we gift a chance to Manchester City, and they absolutely blow it. And I think that is my cue to, let's just drop everybody back a smidgen. Everyone just get back, calm down. Let's all chill out. Timber's tired. So we've got Mosquera who can come on for Timber. I think we will make that change. It's slightly defensive, but that's fine. We're trying to defend. We're also going to take off Gyökeres, and we're going to bring on Evan Ferguson. And then for the final change, we are going to, I think, we're going to bring on Zubimendi for Saka, and we're actually going to do this. And I think we're just going to get Zubimendi in there as an extra layer of protection from our nonsense, because we are prone to a little bit of nonsense on occasion. So let's just cut out the nonsense and run the clock down. We've still got a 3-goal lead with 10-15 minutes of the match left. We don't need to win tonight. We just need to get ourselves into the final. Odegaard is now tiring, so Waneri can come on for him. Wherever he is, there he is. And then Tchouaméni is also tiring. So we can bring on Eza for him, drop Zubimendi back in there, drop Mount in there, and do that. And in fact, swap those two over. And again, just look to see the game out and not do anything too strenuous or overexciting or anything along those lines. 5 minutes, just let it happen. We don't need to win the match. We just need to cruise, and we are cruising. We've never really threatened. We're not even trying to threaten, and there you go. We've comfortably cruised through to the final. We've even done some game management, which frankly I feel a little bit sick about, but ultimately we have made it through to the Champions League final, and that is all that matters. Who are we playing in said Champions League final? Do we know yet, or were we the first game of the two? We don't know yet, I don't think. So if we have a look at the other semi-finals, so oh my word, it could be Liverpool. Juventus are 3-0 up from the first leg, so it's going to have to be something pretty special from Liverpool, or else it's going to be Juventus in the final. But I think the way the series has gone, it probably should be Liverpool. We need that final piece of closure, having never beaten them in the series. It would be quite nice to do it in a Champions League final. That being said, I am afraid of them, so I'd quite like to just play Juventus and do it with less fear involved. And there you go. It is going to be Juventus. And it is actually alarming because they've comfortably beaten Liverpool home and away there. So this Juventus team, clearly quite good. So as much as I was afraid of Liverpool, there probably are reasons to be wary of Juventus. But we're not going to worry about that right now. I'll meet you at the final. Folks, I just want to take a moment to thank today's episode sponsor, Ugreen, who've sent me a couple of their new MagFlow wireless chargers to try out. And honestly, I've already added both of them to my daily setup. First up, we have this little cube. It's the MagFlow 2-in-1 magnetic wireless charger. It sits permanently on my desk, keeping my iPhone and AirPods topped up while I work. It charges my iPhone up to 25 watts, and it's got a really solid magnetic hold. There's no wobble or fiddling around trying to line it up. It also doubles up as an adjustable stand as well, so I can keep an eye on notifications or watch videos while it's charging. And when I'm done, it folds up nice and neatly into this little cube so I can sling it in my bag and take it with me when I need to go traveling. And then there's this, the MagFlow 10,000 milliamp magnetic power bank. This one lives in my tech pouch and comes with me everywhere. It's got two-way 30-watt fast charging, a built-in USB-C cable that doubles as a carry strap, and an LED screen that shows exactly how much charge is left, so you get no surprises when you're out and about. It's powerful enough to keep my phone and camera charged all day, and the magnetic snap means I can keep using my phone while it's charging without cables hanging around everywhere. It's very convenient. Both of these are part of Ugreen's MagFlow series, designed for that next-gen 25-watt charging experience. They're snazzy, fast, and super convenient, and they're available right now on Amazon and from the Ugreen website, and they've got discounts live right now, so check the links at the top of the description below. And thank you again to Ugreen for sponsoring today's video. Now let's crack on, shall we? And there we go, boys and girls. Never let it be said I don't learn from my mistakes. I don't have Spurs colours on this time, although this supposedly red tie to my colourblind eyes does seem to be more orange than red, but it was like £8 off of Amazon, so I'm not that bothered. This is our team for the Champions League final. By the way, we did manage to finally beat Liverpool, and we didn't just beat them, we absolutely walloped them 4-1. So this was the final Premier League table. We ended up finishing 13 points clear of Spurs. Now, as mentioned, we need a cherry on top of the series. I guess an orange cherry. Is this orange or red? At least we're not playing against one of the orange teams like Cambridge or Wolves, or who else plays in orange? Hull. At least we're not playing Hull in the Champions League final. So this is the team. It is Costa in goal, a back four of Lewis Skelly, Gabriel Saliba and Timber, Tchouaméni and Rice in midfield, Saka on the left, Odegaard on the right, Mount in behind Gyökeres. Half the team are wanted by other clubs. Man United want Costa, they'll be lucky. The Blue Neri, Inter, they want Tchouaméni. Man City and Inter want Rice. Inter want Odegaard and Mount. Paris Saint-Germain want Saka. They can all do one. These are my boys. We've just won the Premier League. We're in the Champions League final for the second year in a row. 3 years in a row we've made it to at least the semi-final. We are the biggest team in Europe. We're the biggest team in world football. Now let's just prove it by picking up a Champions League trophy to go with the Premier League trophy we've just won. And then I can disappear off into the sunset to go and get started on Non-League to Legend this afternoon, managing Bedford. It's going to be quite the culture shock going from a Champions League final with Arsenal to the National League North with Bedford. But I hope some of you will come. I mean, let's face it, you're all going to come along for the ride. It's only the hardest of the hardcore still watching this nonsense. I know you're all here for Non-League to Legend. If I can do anything to convince you to stick around beyond it this year, that'd be super duper. But we'll worry about that when we get a little bit deeper into that series. But let's win, shall we? I'd quite like to win, because the Champions League final last year was a misery. You'll notice we have decided to go with our normal free-flowing, tiki-taka attacking football for the final. I love the idea of a Champions League final being played on a building site. It looks like we're playing in a League One ground. There's literally a dump truck behind the goal. And we are losing as well, which is also a long way from ideal. Less than 10 minutes in, it's 1-0 to Juventus. And we've given ourselves a bit of a mountain to climb. We haven't lost a game we've been trying. There's more stuff down this end. There's so much equipment. Why is there so much equipment? We've done a goal. Why is there so much equipment? They're definitely building something new back there, aren't they? But I don't know why they need all these lovely yellow pieces of machinery. I haven't looked at where the final is actually taking place, but clearly it's a ground in the process of being rebuilt, which is a strange time to host the Champions League final there. But I'm not on the I'm not on the stadium selection committee, much to my upset. So I guess we'll leave him to it. Right, Timber dancing forward on the right-hand side, gives it to Odegaard, and then Odegaard gives the ball away, and Juventus have got a counter-attack up and running here. There's still only 8 minutes on the clock. It could be about to go 2-1, but Timber does well to recover and get it clear, but it doesn't get cleared very far, and it is still Inter camping out on the edge of our area. Odegaard now winning the ball back, but immediately giving it away again. And we are struggling to get a hold of the football. We're doing all right winning it. We just can't keep it once we've got it, which is very unlike us. Lewis Skelly gives the ball away on the edge of the area. And we've not had to face this very much during the entire 2 years of this save. It's been very rare for us to come against a team who are causing us as many problems keeping possession. I know we're only 10 minutes in, but we are struggling a little bit. Let's grab another goal. Gyökeres turns nicely, slots Odegaard in. He's going to score, and we do grab another goal. Less than 10 minutes in, it's Arsenal 2, Juventus 1. This is going to be one of history's great finals. Imagine if you got stuck in a queue getting in because you were admiring the equipment. Goodness me. I don't know why we've stopped here. I thought the game was crashing. That's a lovely run from Odegaard, a lovely ball from Gyökeres, and it is 2-1. And we'll take that final whistle now, please and thank you. This is everything we've ever dreamt of. Give us the trophy. Just no more highlights. Run the game down. We're comfortable here. Thank you. Obviously, if the game does insist on giving us some more highlights, we'll take them in the Juventus half. We're not using dynamic highlights this year, by the way. We learned from the 37-minute long final against Tottenham that dynamic highlights are an absolute nightmare. I mean, we might do them for really big matches in non-league to legend, but we're so used to being in the Champions League final now. We don't need dynamic for this in this save. Right, Tchouaméni to Odegaard to Mount. This is where we're at our best. These little one-touch passes when we're crowding the centre of the pitch and it's led to another goal. We just absolutely overload those central areas with Odegaard coming in off one side, Lewis Skelly coming in off the other, and we just have so many players so close together for these little intricate passing moves, and it just creates us these little pockets of space. You get the guy who breaks free. This time it's Saka, and on his left foot he can drive it across goal into that far corner, and with half an hour gone it's Arsenal 3, Juventus 1, and it might actually be happening this year, boys and girls. Everything that went wrong last year, we can just pretend none of it ever happened, because the ultimate story of this save is we won the Premier League and we're going to win the Champions League as well, and it doesn't matter what else happened along the way. I don't think Arsenal fans would forgive me, even if I delivered this in my second season. I wouldn't make it into the second season, would I? Right, Lewis Skelly plays it back to Gabriel, and now Saliba, and the highlight just disappears. And that's what we want to happen to most highlights for the rest of the game. We don't need to see anything else play out. There's Calafiori, our former boy, who we sold to Juventus in the first January transfer window when we were getting the money together to go and buy Diogo Costa. And did we buy anyone else that January? I'm not sure that we did. I think he basically was, him going to Juventus was paying for our goalkeeper upgrade. And there's, of course, we signed Mason Mount as well, signing of the save. How could I forget about Mason Mount? He's been here 18 months now. It's like he's forever been part of the furniture. We love Mason Mount. He's our best player. Right, 3-1 up at half-time. Long may it continue. Just get us to the trophy lift now, please. It's very warm in here with this suit on. I don't know that I'm fully prepared for non-league to legend to start and having to wear this all the time. Although, to be fair, my next door neighbour is this close to having his kitchen finished, I think. So hopefully he'll stop with the constant drilling and hammering and I can start having the window open again, which I am very much going to need if I'm wearing this suit for any length of time. It's warm in here and it's 3-2 to Juventus. And it's not just going to be a walk in the park for us to receive this trophy, I don't think. We are going to have to stay engaged and stay on it. And our midfield too, Rice and Tchouaméni, have been so dominant so often over the course of this save. We're not really seeing it yet today. Rice with the in-swinging corner. It ends up cleared as far as Odegaard, and now it's back with Gabriel. That's it. Get the ball over there to Timber, away from where the pressing is happening. And now Timber charging forward, as he likes to do. Gives it to Tchouaméni. Lovely ball over the top to Saka. Just needs to square it. He does. And I don't know if it's Mount or Gyökeres, but one of them's missed an absolute sitter there, because that gets played across the face of goal. Right, Gabriel with another attempt at one of these long throws. Tchouaméni flicks it on again, and Saka can't quite force it past the keeper, but we saw one in the last episode. We are finally getting these long throws to work. It's taken so long. Lovely ball over the top from Tchouaméni again, and Gyökeres is there to hopefully rubber stamp the whole thing. The ref's got his fingers in his ears. We don't need this getting disallowed. I've still not seen VAR disallow anything on this beta, and it's not going to start now. And Tchouaméni has done this a couple of times today. These lovely balls over the top. It's perfectly placed for Gyökeres to hit first time, just fires it at pace across the Juventus goalkeeper. It's 4-2 to Arsenal, and that should be that. Mason Mount having a rare poor performance today, which is quite upsetting. I really wanted to end the series on a Mason Mount high, but I guess I'm just as happy if we end up with a Champions League trophy. Right, Saka, ball over the top to Gyökeres. Can he add the finishing touch? He can. It's 5-2. Where's my little Champions League trophy? I need to waft it around in front of you. It's over here. I'm getting it ready. My little mini Champions League. Not making a Lego one of these. We need a legitimate trophy. Gyökeres has had three chances, because there's that sitter he missed. But these ones over the top for him to chase, they are his bread and butter. He loves it. And he's scored both of those chances that he's had. And now we are going to make a couple of changes. Saka is going to come off for Waneri. He certainly deserves to be part of this Champions League final. We're also going to take off Lewis Skelly, who's on a yellow card, so no reason to risk him doing anything silly. He can come off as well. And then Tchouaméni is tiring, so Zubimendi can come on for him. Another nice, easy substitution. And fingers crossed we just see this out. I'd love Gyökeres to finish his hat-trick. That would be fitting, I think. And I would like a contribution from Mason Mount. He's been so good since signing. It would be a bit of a shame for him to just have a final where he's not turned up at all. He needs to do something memorable. Oh my word. Odegaard with the assist of the century. That one will just go down in history forever. It puts Arsenal 6-2 ahead. It completes Gyökeres' hat-trick. It's the greatest assist in Champions League final history. Look at it. Absolutely stupendous from Odegaard, who's had a tough journey through this Let's Play. He lost his place early on. He never did get his spot back in the team in his preferred attacking midfield or central midfield. He's had to reinvent himself as a playmaking wide man and has been one of our players of the season. He's been fantastic, and that underlined it there. That was absolutely brilliant from Odegaard. And now we're going to take off Mount, bring on Eza, and for the final change, who have we got who deserves a run out in the final? To be fair, no one really. It's a little harsh. Let's get Evan Ferguson on. Gyökeres has got his hat-trick. Evan Ferguson can come out for a run out. And he's obviously the future. He's, 6-7 years younger than Gyökeres. So we're building for the next generation. We're building this Arsenal team to dominate the Champions League for the next 10 seasons. And Ferguson is certainly going to play more a part of that than Gyökeres, presumably. But what a performance. We've put together quite the football team here at Arsenal. And I know we started with a pretty good team, but it was a pretty good team that was quite a long way behind Liverpool and was a little bit bottly, as we saw in the final last year. Him getting better has certainly helped. But some of these signings that I saw you questioning them at the time, some of these signings have ended up being masterstrokes. Kev knows how to deliver a Champions League, boys and girls. I admit that the Albert, Ferguson and Costa, that is all Arteta signings on the pitch at the moment. Actually, Gabriel might have even been earlier than that. But either way, we get a Champions League. Well, look at that. It looks just like it. Needs a bit of a polish, my one. Theirs is lovely and clean and shiny. Mine definitely needs a little bit of a polish. But this is our first proper look at the new Champions League trophy celebration. Yuri and Timber. It just seems to be a thing. Captains don't lift trophies. Right backs do. Mascara lifted the Premier League trophy. Timber lifts the Champions League trophy. And I'm going to have to go out and buy a green jacket so I fit in properly to these trophy celebrations, because jeans, trainers, dark shirt, blue I need to sort myself out for non-league legend. I can't go into non-league football dressed like that. I'll be laughed out of Bedford. But what a result. Job done, boys and girls. We've won it all, as we intended to do. The board should be happy. We've qualified for the Club World Cup. Not that we have any intention in playing in it, because this series ends here. And boys and girls, that was the FM26 Beta. It's been an interesting ride. We've had our ups and downs. But later on today, obviously, we get started with the main event of FM26, non-league to legend, and hopefully we'll see you there. If you've enjoyed this episode, this series, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.